Okay, now we're going to come to really the delightful part of the program, and that's to award some very special people some well-deserved awards. What we have are the recipients of the Janet Spraggins Pro Bono Award. As you know, Janet Spraggins, the award was named in her honor. She was the founder of the Low Income Tax Clinic, now named after her at the Washington College of Law at American University. And this year, we had an embarrassment of riches. We had 3 winners. It was just terrific. So, and Trish, to your point, we are very proud of our pro bono program, and we take it very seriously, and we appreciate all the hard work that everybody puts in to pro bono. But these 3 individuals deserve special recognition, and we're delighted to do so. So the first is Hardin Matthews, who's going to be recognized for his many years of dedication to low-income taxpayers. He had a long and distinguished career with the Boston law firm of Ropes and Gray, where he performed a lot of pro bono in addition to his full-time legal services. After retirement, he's been working in pro bono, and over the last 5 years, he's had more than 3,700 hours of volunteer pro bono activity in the last 5 years. That's terrific. Hardin, please come up, and I want to give you your award and come up and be recognized, please. Let me give you an award. Sure.
Well, I am humbled. What did I do to deserve this? I got to the end of my career at Ropes not really wanting to retire. And so one of my objectives in retirement was having an agenda. Another was avoiding irrelevance. And I said to myself, gee, you know, I've got some skills that could be helpful to others. While I was an employee benefits lawyer my whole life, that's not the only thing I could do. One of my partners said, who actually was known in the Washington community, he was once upon a time at the International Tax Council at Treasury, suggested that I try low-income tax. I said, what is that? I mean, so many people think it's an oxymoron. How could a low-income person have tax problems? Well, turns out there are a lot of ways that they can. And so it wasn't long before I managed to find out about some tax clinics around Boston, and I decided to work at one of them called Greater Boston Legal Services, which is in effect a full-service law firm, pretty much, whole variety of services, and focused on the legal, non-criminal or civil matters of people who cannot afford a lawyer. And they had a low-income taxpayer clinic led by my mentor and guider, Luz Arevalo, herself an immigrant from Colombia. And she is, to some extent, representative of many of the folks we serve. Many of them are immigrants. Many of them are people of color. Many of them speak English as a second language, or not at all, and they are all low income in one way or another. The opportunity to serve that group is very special. You don't really know who you are going to see coming in the door on any particular day. Most of my clients are low income, just struggling with the grinding effects of poverty. And we do the best we can with them. There are lots of Uber drivers who didn't pay their estimated taxes. There are some real outliers in the cases in terms of who they are. The first time I was in the U.S. tax court calendar called the IRS, told me we have a client over there. He was with his father, and he was just out of prison for running a meth lab. But he had some tax problems, and he deserved fairness in those tax problems. And some of my other clients have included all people now on hard times, a former national sports champion, a incarcerated bank robber, a political activist. These are folks you'd never meet outside of a pro bono context. My mentor told me that when I appear in tax court, I'm really giving people who are with me some dignity. They're important enough to have a representative who is going to get the best result for them. And so it's been my great satisfaction to do this. And I would say to you, some of you have some extra time. Some of you might be approaching retirement like I was. You've got some skills that can be useful to people. You can reinvent yourself as a general purpose tax lawyer focusing on the problems of low-income taxpayers if you want to. I ask you to join me in this. It is immensely satisfying work, as I've said, and indeed I have to say I do it partly for myself. It feels good to be helpful to others. Thank you very much.
Okay, and I would also now like to recognize two individuals for their work on the same project. Kelley Miller and Larry Sannicandro worked together on an amazing project to provide relief for exonerated individuals who wrongly paid taxes on settlements they received from governmental entities during their incarceration. So with that, Kelley and Larry, please come up to the podium and be recognized, and we'd like to hear a little bit about the program. Thank you. Did you want to?
I'll say a few brief words.
Okay. And then I'll give you your award.
Thank you. Larry's going to come up here. We're going to do this together. We know that, like you all, we also want to hear from Chief Counsel Desmond, so we'll try to keep our remarks brief. But, you know, it is with really grateful hearts that we would like to thank the section, its leadership, the Pro Bono Committee, for the recognition of this project. And especially we want to thank our clients for whom we've had the privilege to serve over the past 4 years, and our esteemed friends, so many of them are in this room with us today, who are doing such good and such important work in pro bono. We know that we are not the only ones who certainly deserve to be up here and have an award like this. I'm particularly grateful to the section. I know Larry and I both are, because it is directly a result of a section meeting that this project even existed. It was a result of a conversation that we had at the beginning of the 2016 May meeting. That morning, I happened to read an article that was published in the Atlantic featuring the work of John Eldon. So John is a dear friend of ours now. He runs After Innocence, which was one of the very few pro bono nonprofit organizations in this country who work with exonerees post-exoneration. And the article was about 139F and the adoption in that prior year of that new code section. And John's efforts to try to reach out to the exonerated community to let them know about 139F, the ability to make sure that their exonerated payments were going to be ex-tax in this very small window of time to file a refund opportunity. So I just read that article, and I stumbled upon a group of colleagues. This was right before we interviewed Caroline Cerullo for TaxBridge, and I said, you know, what if just good people like us, tax accountants and lawyers, come together and we help file those refund claims? We could really do great change. And of course, I'm standing in a small group of people, and when I shared this idea, I was not surprised at all that Larry Sannicandro, my Italian parents didn't give me a brother, so I got Larry Sannicandro. And he is my brother and dear friend. I wasn't surprised at all, as I know many of you in this room are not as well, that Larry said, "Kel, I'm in," and off we went. We literally cyberstalked John Eldon. We called him. We said, let us help. He said, I don't know who you people are, but okay. So this was the May meeting, right? And we had until December 17th that year to file the refund claims. That's where we were allowed under statute. And we then worked quite diligently to find the exonerees, to pull together their documents, and to file those refund claims. And over the past 4 years, we have had the privilege and honor of working with dozens of incredible men and women, with John and his amazing organization, and to date, we filed approaching 60 claims for refund, resulting in over $1 million for our exonerated clients. But I just want to say, it hasn't been just me and Larry. I thank you for that, but it really hasn't been just me and Larry. It has been dozens of EAs, tax attorneys, and accountants throughout the country who have helped us. And there are people in the room today who we must acknowledge. Michael Wallace from Agostino and Associates. Michael, please stand up. Michael Wallace is an incredible EA at Agostino. Michael was instrumental in helping us. We couldn't have done it without him. Frank Agostino, please stand up. Frank Agostino. Couldn't have done it without Frank. I don't know if Nina Olson is in the room, but Nina, if you are, your help to us was instrumental. Nina and her team got on a conference call with us, and because of that result, the 1099 process and how exonerate payments of their annuities was really looked at, and she was an incredible support to us. Keith Fogg, Keith and your students at Harvard, please, thank you so much. Please be acknowledged for all your work. You know, they're taxpayer advocate, chief counsel. We really had a group effort. Truly a village came together. The professors, the tax clinics, HuffPo, the media who got the word out, and of course our amazing colleague, Carlisle Bremer, an associate at Reed Smith, who was then a summer associate, who along with 50 College of William and Mary law students went out and tracked down all of the exonerees on the Exonerated Persons Registry to make sure they knew about this effort during the summer of 2016. The work has not been simply confined to refund claims. When the news cameras and the reporters disappear from the lives of an exonerated person, there's a complete dearth of actual resources to assist these persons. And that's where Larry and I want to call on the tax community to help us. We want to ask you to come and do what you can with what you have, where you are. These individuals need our help filing, correcting filing noncompliance, dealing with CDP issues, and helping to navigate estate planning, which is often very simple, yet vitally important to them. We found that our clients in this community do not care about our accomplishments, our titles, how many sections we've chaired or panels we have spoken on. They do not care where we went to law school. In fact, that is not why really any of us in this room will be remembered, truly, is it? We'll be remembered for how we served, and yes, I will say it in a room full of tax lawyers, how we've loved our clients. And so I call on you to help us. One of our clients who has told the story in a journal, and he has allowed us to say it. Actually, we got the refund claim for him. It was great, and it was all good. And he called us about 6 months ago. He was diagnosed with cancer, and he had about 2 months to live. And he said, Ms. Miller, he said, can you help me with one last thing? And I said, what's that? And he said, I want to make sure that in my last will and testament, they specify that I'm to be buried in a tuxedo and shoes. And I said, why is that? And he said, because I spent 22 years incarcerated in prison wearing pajamas and slippers. He said, when I meet Jesus, I want to meet him wearing a tuxedo and real shoes. That's what we do. That's what we did in this project, and that's what you can come and help us do. So I call on you to do that. I am so grateful to the section. We're so grateful to the section for this work. And we look forward to working with those clients for many years to come. Thank you very much.